Hey everybody, welcome to episode 7 of What Not to Miss with Chris. As you know by now, my goal each week is to put out quick, relevant content that explains the why behind the what in order to positively impact the freight community. Last episode, I talked about customs imports by industry and how they affect volumes capacity. At the end of the episode, I touched on the state of the market in 2018 and how it created a very soft market in 2019, and how also comparing 2018 and 2020 would be a much longer conversation for another day. That day has come. And to help me do that, I chose the chart behind me, which is a comparative view of outbound tender rejection index, new Class 8 truck orders, and new van trailer orders. This graph starts back in January of 2018 and moves to today. So what we saw back in 2018, obviously for the whole year, we saw high, for the majority of the year, we saw high tender rejections. Those rejections caused Class 8 truck orders to skyrocket and van orders followed. Now, as you can see, Class 8 truck orders were much higher than new van trailer orders. You fast forward to today, the last several months, we've seen elevated rejections. However, as of last month, we're seeing trailer orders skyrocket as opposed to van orders remaining around replacement levels. So why are we seeing the reverse effect of truck versus trailer orders that we saw in 2018? Well, if you're around the logistics industry in 2018, you know it was a banner year for trucking. Not necessarily because volumes remained elevated for the majority of the year, but because there was a long stretch of elevated rejections that were lingering from that because of lingering effects from Hurricane Harvey and Irma, the ELD mandate that took place in December of 2017, and a large number of boomer drivers retiring. Also similar to 2018, we're currently seeing van rates per mile just shy of $3. However, the factors surrounding this year are much different. To start, if you haven't already noticed, we're currently in the middle of a global pandemic. COVID has forced consumer spending behaviors to change drastically from spending money on services like lodging, airlines, and entertainment to more and more consumer goods. Government assistance like stimulus checks and unemployment benefits have aided consumer confidence and kept it elevated, as can be seen in Bank of America's most recent card spending data. Other factors like the FMCSA's Drug and Alcohol Clearinghouse has removed tens of thousands of drivers this year. Government assistance programs, as mentioned previously, have incentivized some drivers who were furloughed or laid off in the early days of COVID to look at careers outside of the industry or to retire early. And for those interested in pursuing a CDL, about a fourth of all driving schools still remain closed due to COVID, and the ones that are open are only operating around 60%. As I said earlier, the biggest difference between 2018 and 2020 is COVID. And the one thing we've all come to experience this year is a heightened sense of uncertainty regarding the future, especially with Election Day only 1 week out. In 2018, as rejections remain elevated, COVID and a pending election weren't fears of carriers whose main objectives was just to simply meet their customers' demand. And as more and more truckers replaced, the supply and demand imbalance slowly began to reverse as 2018 rolled into a very soft 2019. The current sense of uncertainty, coupled with a vast driver shortage and a fear of that what happened in 2018 may happen at the end of this year and escalate into 2021, has kept new truck orders low and has fueled new trailer orders as trailer pools and drop-in hooks seem to be a safer and more practical option currently. As I mentioned last week, I don't see 2018 repeating itself and causing a 2019 scenario next year. However, there are still several unknowns that need to play out. So your guess may be as good as mine. I hope this information has been beneficial. I'd love to hear your opinion, so please feel free to comment below. And as always, I'm happy to have more in-depth conversation about this topic and any other. So please feel free to reach out. Happy to have those conversations. And until next time, my name is Chris Seeds, and this has been another episode of We're Not Doing This with Chris.